Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Proccio, and I have the pleasure of serving as the chair of the Board of Trustees of Sustainable Jersey. On behalf of the entire board, I would like to welcome everyone to today's 2021 virtual municipal grants announcement event. To the municipal representatives attending today, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to attend this event. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has placed significant responsibilities and challenges on your municipalities, and we're happy to share the good news of your grants with you. To the PSEG Foundation, thank you for your continued support of Sustainable Jersey and the grants program. This program has been instrumental to the success of the program and fueling the passions of elected officials, municipal staff, and Green Team volunteers throughout the state who can make a difference in their communities. Unfortunately, we're not able to meet in person this year, but I encourage you to use the chat feature to interact with other participants and ask questions. We will also have time at the end of the event for questions. And I hope that these conversations will continue through social media, the Sustainable Jersey regional hubs, and future events. You should be proud of your projects, and I hope you will share your progress through various media outlets and with Sustainable Jersey. And with that, I would now like to invite Maria Spina, Program Manager, PSEG Foundation, to say a few words. Maria?
Thank you, Anne Marie, and thank you all for joining us today as we announce and congratulate this year's grant recipients. I'm Maria Spina, Program Manager for the PSEG Foundation, and it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of PSEG and the PSEG Foundation. As New Jersey's oldest and largest energy provider, PSEG is committed to helping build sustainable and thriving communities by empowering and investing in the people, environment, and infrastructure of the communities we serve. The PSEG Foundation is proud to support this mission with grants and to date has contributed $2.5 million in funding to the Sustainable Jersey Grants Program. Supporting Sustainable Jersey's municipal and schools as they work at the local level on sustainability programs puts resources where they're needed. This year, the PSEG Foundation is providing $200,000 in grant funding to New Jersey municipalities and an additional $100,000 for schools. In recent years, municipal grant recipients have invested this funding in programs that advance sustainable ideals and practices for local agencies, families, and businesses across the state, each reflecting the individual needs of their communities. We have been inspired by these projects, just as we have been inspired by this year's grant applications and the select recipients who will be revealed today. At the PSEG Foundation, we believe that when one of us is impacted in the community, we all feel that impact. For that reason, we work diligently to ensure that we're all able to join together to act and build a framework of equity, compassion, and respect that will truly benefit us all. And we're confident that the funded projects developed by Sustainable Jersey will act as models of innovation for communities throughout the state and contribute to the long-term goal of a more sustainable New Jersey. Once again, on behalf of PSEG and the PSEG Foundation, we extend our warmest welcome and thank you all for being part of today's event. I would like to now invite Randall Solomon, Executive Director of Sustainable Jersey, to say a few words. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Maria, and thanks PSEG Foundation. The PSEG Foundation has been a key partner for Sustainable Jersey. They've been a real driver of our success since the very beginning. Overall, since 2012, the Foundation's provided $2.5 million in funding directly to municipalities and schools participating in the Sustainable Jersey program, and they've provided nearly $900,000 in support to us so that we can run the certification program, manage our operations, and do many, many training and outreach programs. Overall, the Sustainable Jersey Grants Program has awarded over $6.6 million in grants to municipalities and schools to advance their local sustainability initiatives. With 81% of New Jersey municipalities and 64% of New Jersey public school districts participating in Sustainable Jersey, this funding is critical to supporting sustainable initiatives in communities across the state. There are very few programs like this where resources are provided to the local level that enable you as the communities, as the schools, to be the drivers in choosing what it is you're going to do with those funds and what you're trying to achieve locally. And we're so proud to have been able to partner with PSEG Foundation to make these resources available to you. I know the grant projects you're going to be embarking on are going to help build your communities and support continued progress in the Sustainable Jersey program. The global pandemic reminded us that making preparations today to ensure our future well-being is time well spent. So much of what we do at Sustainable Jersey is working today to invest in the future. Working together, we take steps to build a sustainable future that we all want to be part of. Your grant projects will help New Jersey to continue to prepare and to build that sustainable future. In addition to the grants, our staff works very hard to provide all kinds of assistance to participating municipalities, including training, technical assistance, guidance documents and toolkits, and various networking opportunities. There's a wealth of information and opportunity on our website and in our biweekly email newsletter. If you'd like to learn more about any of this, please visit our websites or email us at info@sustainablejersey.com, and we'll be happy to talk to you and happy to connect you with the appropriate staff people who can help you. Finally, thank you to you. Thank you to everyone here who's serving on their municipal green team or committing effort as an elected official or a municipal employee to this effort. You're making a personal commitment to improving the quality of life in New Jersey and beyond. And we know the last year has presented many challenges, and we continue to be inspired by your dedication and commitment to the program.
Hey, Linus,
And to
I'm
sustainability.
on a Facebook Live event. So can you please, yeah.
Sorry, and whoever that was, if you could mute yourself. And now we'd like to announce the $20,000 and $10,000 grant recipients and projects. And at the conclusion of the recognition video, we'll hear a few words from some of their recipients.
Hailing from Hudson County, congratulations to Secaucus Town. They are using their grant to fund their community greenhouse project. From Hunterdon County is High Bridge Borough, who will be using their grant for the Love High Bridge Commons Pathway Restoration Project. From Monmouth County, Long Branch City will be using their grant for an environmental resource inventory update. Montgomery Township from Somerset County will be using their grant for a stormwater basin retrofit pilot program. From Burlington County, Mount Laurel Township will be using their grant for their farmers market increasing accessibility to local food project. From Essex County, Belleville Township will be using their grant for their water conservation, education, and outreach program. Also from Essex County, Glenridge Borough will be using their grant for a waste reduction, education, and outreach program. From Gloucester County, East Greenwich Township will be using their grant for an outdoor environmental information center. From Middlesex County, Sayreville Borough will be using their grant for their community garden project. From Monmouth Borough, Howell Township will be using their grant for their plastic pollution solutions project. From Passaic County, Patterson City will be using their grant for their Inspiring Community Action on Sustainability Initiatives project. Also from Passaic is Pompton Lakes Borough, who will be using their grants for the Restoring the Shores of the Ramparado River project. Congratulations to all of our new grantees.
Congratulations again to all of our grantees. This is Caitlin Vollmer. I'm the Grants Program Coordinator for Sustainable Jersey. I'm really excited to hear more about our large grant recipients. And to start us off, we have Jennifer Snyder from Secaucus Town's Environmental Department, and she's going to give a few words on her project. So Jennifer, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you so much. And Mayor Ganelli was actually able to come by and extend his thanks as well. So on behalf of the Town of Secaucus, Mayor Ganelli, Secaucus Town Council, the Secaucus Public School District, we want to thank the PSEG Foundation and Sustainable Jersey for this very generous award. We are so grateful for the opportunity to implement such a collaborative and innovative project. As the video highlighted, we'll be using this funding to purchase materials for a greenhouse that will utilize solar power and a rain harvesting irrigation system. And the actual greenhouse itself will be built thanks to our skilled public works department staff. And we specifically chose this project as a team because within the past year, we've seen interest in our community garden program almost completely double. COVID-19 showed us more than ever before how important and impactful it is to grow your own food for so many reasons. And this greenhouse will help us as a municipality better serve new and returning community gardeners who are eager to learn how to grow food from seed to harvest. In general, this is really, the goal is for us to enhance our sustainability and affordability goals within our community garden program and hopefully be an innovative model for others. And we especially want to highlight that we chose the title as Community Greenhouse because we want it to be a true community space for everyone to come together, from our senior garden club members to Secaucus students. We actually selected the project to be on school grounds so that teachers could bring their students to the greenhouse during school hours and invite their families afterwards. Our teachers are also coordinating with the Bullock Garden Project, a New Jersey nonprofit focused on empowering students and families through garden education. So all together, all of these partners and groups, we're going to be really supporting horticulture education for our entire community. And we also have another goal for this project to utilize the greenhouse to grow and plant more native species to support native biodiversity within the Hackensack Meadowlands. So this is in a collaborative effort with our teachers, our shade tree committee, our green team, and we're all just really looking forward to getting started and seeing the lasting impact that it'll have for our entire community. So again, from Mayor Ganelli and I, sorry, he was a little cut off.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is something I dreamed about for a long time. Really great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jennifer and Mayor Ganelli, for sharing more information about your project. We're really excited to see how that community greenhouse turns out. So now I would like to introduce from Highbridge Borough, Mia Baldwin, the Green Team Chair, who's going to say a couple words about her town's project. So Mia, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. On behalf of Highbridge, I'd like to thank Sustainable Jersey, PSEG, our Green Team, our municipal staff and elected officials. Thank you so much. We're so excited to be receiving the grant to fund our Pathway project. It is a project that everyone has been hoping for years, and our second go round on applying, we received the grant. Thank you so much. The Pathway will connect our biggest attraction, one of our biggest attractions in town, is the Columbia Trail parking lot, to our Main Street businesses. It's a small area, but will hopefully have a lot of impact. We hope to make the Pathway bordered by native gardens, rain gardens that will serve as demonstration gardens for people in our community. We'd like to get more people interested in restoring our landscape by adding native plants. This project will be great because it will build collaborations between our community, borough officials, our green team and other committees, students, residents. It will foster those types of collaborations. We are so excited. It will support a lot of our green team's initiatives through Sustainable Jersey, green infrastructure, support local, our wildlife initiatives, and community engagement. So we're really excited about this. It's located in the Commons Park, and also because it's right along our historic railway, it will highlight that history as well, which is pretty exciting. So thank you very much for choosing us.
Oh, thanks so much, Mia. That was great. Really excited to see your project come to fruition too. It's great. Connecting those spaces is so important, the walkability of the community. So we're really excited to see High Bridges project also come to
Thank you.
completion. Yeah. And now from Long Branch City, I'm happy to introduce Annette Benatti, the Green Team Co-Chair and Environmental Commission alternate. So go on, Annette, you can feel free to unmute yourself now.
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. On behalf of the City of Long Branch, our Environmental Commission, and the Green Team, I want to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSEG for this award. It will allow us to hire a consultant for an environmental resource inventory, an ERI. That's a compilation of both text and visual information about natural resource characteristics and environmental features of our area. And it's the first step in protecting and preserving our natural resources. This award is especially timely because our ERI is 10 years old and really doesn't take full advantage of current digital tools. So we're excited to have something that will be more interactive. It's also timely because 10 acres of commercial redevelopment that abuts the Atlantic Ocean is currently pending in Long Branch. We've recently added over 600 new housing units all along the ocean front, and a current ERI will provide us with data to plan for the impact of climate change on this sensitive area. When we wrote the grant, we saw it not only as a resource for city planners, which is its original intention, but as an opportunity to engage residents in Long Branch. Our ERI will have photos, graphics, and informative inserts that'll keep the document interactive. We plan to design and print a flyer that will feature some of Long Branch's environmental assets, and that'll serve as an invitation for residents to take a deeper dive into the ERI that will be online, and it will be part of the master plan. Our hope is that residents will have a heightened interest in the sustainability of Long Branch. So again, on behalf of Long Branch, thank you so much. We're really excited about this.
Thanks so much, Annette. Yes, it's so great to see a planning project. I know a lot of people think grant means installation or implementation project, but those planning documents and getting sustainability into your master plan is so important. So really excited for Long Branch. Thank you again, Annette. Now, hailing from Montgomery Township, we have Lori Savron, who is the planning director there, and she's going to say a few words about her town's project.
I'm sorry about that. Let me start again. We want to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSEG Foundation for your financial support. We'd like to also show our sincere appreciation for all of Sustainable Jersey's advocacy and education programming. It is so important for towns like Montgomery, where we want to make sustainable planning and policy choices. We always know where to look for your guidance and support. It's so incredibly important for us, especially for myself as a planner. I look to you guys for that. We'd also like to thank the Watershed Association, especially Sophie Glovier and Corey Cressiter and Kathy Hale of the New Jersey Water Supply Authority. They were very instrumental in sharing their knowledge and encouragement for this support, and we appreciate that. So really, on behalf of the Township Administrator, Donato Neiman, and all of the staff that are involved with this project, along with our environmental commission and green team members who are really passionate advocates and have wanted this project to move forward for so long. We all want to thank our governing body members, specifically our mayor, Mayor Keenan, for advocating for this project and supporting the staff and the commission members every step of the way. That support is critical in making things work. The stormwater basin retrofit and water quality best management practices pilot program project that we are undertaking. I think first you can see a common thread amongst all of these projects here as we all speak, that these are projects the towns have wanted to do for a long time, but this grant really helps move it forward. And so I cannot thank you enough for that. It specifically for Montgomery moves forward basin planning efforts that we started years ago. And in terms of our goal of to retrofit these existing pre-2005 stormwater basins into biobasins. It's recently been a recommendation in our NRI that was updated as well. So we want to understand the options that we have to help guide how we allocate limited resources in order to improve water quality and then reduce the impacts of flooding. You know, basins in Montgomery, as in many places, are owned by a variety of entities. So for Montgomery Township to become the model to show others like these private homeowners associations and Somerset County, how we can convert traditional basins to biobasins is one of the important parts of this project. So again, we thank you for support and we look forward to many more opportunities to work together in the future. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Lori. Yes, we're very excited about Montgomery Township's project. You know, biobasins, making those basins easier to maintain by the municipality is not only sustainable in that way, but also helps keep the water clean and helps with stormwater management. So we're really excited for that to become a model and to learn a lot from that project being completed. So thanks so much, Lori. Turning it to the $10,000 grant recipients from Mount Laurel Township, we have Brandon Schillingford, the Deputy Township Manager, who will be saying a few words on behalf of his town.
Hi. First of all, we wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey and the PSEG Foundation for providing this grant opportunity to Mount Laurel, the Mount Laurel Green Team, and the Rancocas Woods Business Association. We're very appreciative of the chance to bring an affordable farmers market to the township, something that hasn't been available in Mount Laurel up until this point. We're also excited to say that this farmers market will focus on providing subsidies to vendors to get them to accept SNAP benefits, giving a chance for those in need to get fresh produce on their tables. And finally, this farmers market creates an opportunity to bring more foot traffic to local businesses and restaurants in an area that is the focus of revitalization efforts for the township. This business area has been looking to create a farmers market for the past couple of years, and this grant will allow us to execute the plan that they've been working on that whole time. Altogether, these aspects of the project will combine to create ongoing environmentally friendly events where sustainable businesses and farmers can work together and provide fresh produce for the township's residents. And once again, I just wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey, PSEG, and Caitlin for all the work that they've been doing to get these grants out to all the townships.
Oh, thanks so much, Brandon. Yes, we're very excited for Mount Laurel's new farmers market. Many of you may be aware of our farmers market action, but we actually do have a making farmers market more accessible action as well. It's really important that we, allow all members of the community to enjoy the spoils of a good farmers market. So really excited for Mount Laurel. Moving on to Belleville Township, I'm happy to introduce Gabrielle Bennett Muni, the Green Team Project Leader, who will say a few words on behalf of her town.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone, and thank you very much on behalf of the Township of Belleville and our Mayor, Michael Melhem. We really appreciate this grant. We want to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSEG. The Municipal Green Team is very, very excited to be awarded the grant to put together a campaign to educate the community about water and conservation strategies. This is very exciting because this is a newer Sustainable Jersey initiative, right? About water conservation education. Seems simple, but I think we forgot about this for a while. So we plan on bringing water conservation back to the limelight again, the spotlight, and hope that everyone follows suit. We're going to partner with the Belleville School District. We're going to seek out some assistance from some partnering agencies, the NJSEA or New Jersey Meadowlands District, and also Passaic Valley Sewage Commission. Both education and outreach divisions are great. So they're going to help us with some field trips and coming out to do some workshops and lectures to our community. We're also going to develop the flyers, posters, social media posts, and work with the WBHS TV station that we have at the high school to possibly put together a video segment that will focus on where our drinking water comes from, or all the water that enters into our residential households as well as businesses, what we do with it, and then what happens when it leaves our households as wastewater. And so the focus here, of course, is conservation, changes in behavior, and, you know, again, everyone, including the mayor, Michael Melhem, the township council, the superintendent, and the Board of Education are all excited and waiting to see what both green teams do with this educational campaign on water conservation. So thank you very much again.
Thanks so much, Gabrielle. Yes, we're also very excited for Belleville Township's project. As Gabrielle alluded to, we do have a whole new slate of water actions as part of our new Gold Star standard in water. So feel free to check those out if water conservation or water quality or any water issues in general are of interest to your community. I also want to highlight the fact that, you know, great partnerships with the schools. As many of you know, we do have a schools program, certification program, just like the municipal one. And we love to see partnerships between the school and municipal entities. So that's really great. Thanks again, Gabrielle, for sharing. Now from Glenridge Borough, I'm happy to introduce Debbie Mans, the counselor there, who's going to talk a little bit about the project.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, first of all, thank you to Sustainable Jersey and PSEG for the program and the funding. And of course, to our mayor, Stuart Patrick, our council, and our staff. We're partnering with our Environmental Advisory Committee and Java's Compost. And we're really excited to tackle waste reduction in a holistic manner in the borough. Our goal is to reduce our waste going to the incinerator in Newark, where it impacts an environmental justice community. And we want to raise awareness in our town and other towns that is what happens. So we'll be expanding our recycling efforts, including our non-traditional recycling efforts like our free cycle, bulk waste, soft plastics, and bottle caps, which is very popular in town. And we'll also have new recycling and branding education materials to increase our participation in those projects. And we're really excited to be creating a food waste scrap drop-off location and a holding station to facilitate ease of food waste or food scrap recycling and composting. And so we'll be doing that in conjunction with Java's Compost. So thank you again.
Great, thanks so much, Debbie. Obviously, waste reduction is always a great project, but we love the fact that you were able to connect it to environmental justice, an issue that the state is really taking in charge nowadays. So thanks so much for sharing your project. Moving on to East Greenwich Township, I'm happy to introduce Chris Nelson, the Green Team Leader and Environmental Commission Chair, who will be talking about his town's project.
Thank you. Of course, I want to start out with a big thanks to PSEG and Sustainable Jersey. I'm hailing from down here in the deep south of New Jersey, and sometimes we feel a little neglected compared to our northern brethren. So we are extremely grateful that you guys have chosen to see the value of this particular project. Our Environmental Commission and the Green Team by extension have both chosen to make education as a centerpiece of all the projects we take on going forward. This project we're working on now is the first big one where we've chosen, or where we're using that particular mindset. Mickleton Park is currently largely grass, and our project plan, and it is pretty comprehensive and will take multiple years. The project plan is to make it more usable and a place for living and learning that all the township can use. The phase we're on now is the entryway area that's going to feature a pollinator garden and an informational kiosk. And the kiosk is going to serve as kind of an information center for what goes on in the rest of the park, where we'll have various different garden features with information posts and QR codes where people can scan and read about the plant life, native, of course, and how they can implement similar projects on their own properties. So the information kiosk is going to be a key point and a focal point for the park and for much of the surrounding area. The Mayor Archer and the Township Committee have been extremely supportive, and the municipal utilities people have given us a really impressive amount of support. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank them as well. The mayor, of course, couldn't be on. He's a very busy guy. But he wanted us to extend thanks on behalf of the township and the committee. We look forward to getting this project even further underway, and we thank you again for your support of it.
Great, thanks so much, Chris. Yes, public information and engagement is a really important aspect of sustainability. We have some actions under that category. Using innovative methods to get the word out to the community is also really important. So we're really excited for your project. Moving on to Sayreville Borough, I'm happy to introduce Victoria Kilpatrick, the mayor, who will be speaking on behalf of her town. Oh, actually, I do not think the Honorable Victoria Kilpatrick actually was able to join us today. So we're going to move on to Howell Township. I'm going to introduce Lisa Dowd, the Green Team Chair, who's going to talk a little bit about her project.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to say on behalf of the Green Team, I wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSEG for this great grant opportunity. We're all so excited. It's been a while since we've applied for a grant, so thank you so much for the opportunity. I also wanted to thank the Green Team, the Town Council, and the town officials for their support and dedication to helping us and reduce plastic use in our community. We chose this project due to the increase of plastic waste in our environment and waterways, and also to prepare our community for the upcoming plastic bag ban in May 2022. The grant will be used to install a refillable water bottle station in a high volume recreational area, maximizing environmental and economic benefits to the residents of the township. The goal of the refillable water bottle station will be to reduce the amount of plastic litter by 25 to 40%. The Howell Green Team will partner and collaborate with the Environmental Commission and provide a range of educational outreach and events for school green teams, businesses, and other entities. And we have some really fun contests and events planned for the community and schools. So this grant will help us to extend those educational events. The Green Team will also launch a community-wide multimedia plastic reduction educational campaign. So again, we want to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSEG. We are so grateful for this grant opportunity.
Great, thank you so much, Lisa. It does look like we have the representative from Sayreville. Michelle, give me 1 second. I just have to move you over into panelist, and then you'll be able to share the details of your project. So let's see. All right, Michelle, you should be good to go.
Hi, we actually have our mayor with us. Can you make her a panelist? Mayor Vicki Kilpatrick?
Sure. Let me see if I can find her on the list.
Wonderful,
Hi.
thank you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Oh, perfect.
Wonderful. Yes. I'm actually glad that Councilwoman Marr is on the line with me as well, because this is actually one of her passion, and she was able to bring it to us on the council and to myself. So I have to give complete credit to Councilwoman Marr, along with the wonderful volunteers that we have here in Sayreville with our green team and with our environmental team. Michelle, you have done an amazing job, but more importantly, I wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey on behalf of the entire council, along with PSEG, because without your efforts, support, and award of this grant, there is no way currently in the time with this pandemic that we would probably have been able to free up some of the funds needed to make our community garden. This has been a passion for so many of our residents. The area that we will be looking to put our community garden in was actually devastated by Hurricane Sandy, and it became a Blue Acre site So we were hoping to return the area back to its natural green environment, but that has been problematic. And quite frankly, it was a bit of a blight on our community. The community garden now is going to revitalize that area, allow people to congregate, come together, and make that site beautiful once again. And I cannot thank again our team, and I'll let Councilwoman Marr talk about some of the other amazing ideas that she and her team have to make that garden even better. I know that we also received a beehive, which my own daughters are very excited about, because we know that without our bees, these types of projects don't work. And I'd also like to give a shout out to some of our neighboring communities like East Brunswick, where they have a thriving community garden that we hope to model ours after, to continue to get as many residents, from our seniors to our schools to even our athletics programs, so students and young people can understand the importance of being able to grow your own food, come together as a community along with our businesses to help our town thrive. Michelle, I'll turn it over to you if you wish to add anything else. And I am also inspired by the towns and the officials and the leaders that have spoken today. You have given me even more ideas to bring to our town as well. So thank you all.
Thank you, Vicki. I have nothing additional to add other than to thank. I know Walter Christian, our environmental commissioner, is on with us as well, and thank our environmental commission for all the hard work they put in. And we're really excited to get started. And this definitely motivates us to do that. And like Mayor Kilpatrick said, to bring back the area in our town that was devastated by Sandy. They lost a lot of our community members' homes in that area. And this will definitely bring life and new energy back to that area. So thank you, Mayor, for speaking. You said it all.
Thanks, Councilwoman, and thank you all once again. I truly appreciate this.
Great, thanks so much, Mayor Kilpatrick, Councilwoman Mayor. That was great. It's always so great to hear that towns are inspired by other towns. We do have on our website the participating communities map. So if you do see any projects within the certification reports of towns that inspire you, you can always reach out to the Sustainable Jersey contact to learn more about that project. So last but not least, from Pompton Lakes Borough, we have Eric DeLine, the council president, who'll be saying a few words on his town's project.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by, on behalf of the Pompton Lakes Mayor and Council, our Green Team, our Flood Advisory Board, and all of our residents, thank you to Sustainable Jersey and the PSEG Foundation, and congratulations to all the other grant winners. Our project is restoring the shores of the Ramapo River. After Hurricane Irene, we had taken a number of steps to acquire many flood-prone properties lining along the Ramapo River that were severe repetitive flood properties, single-family homes. Since then, with the property, we've developed a greenway using impervious materials, and we've really focused on conserving the land. So with this grant, we're going to be taking the next step by starting to manage it. We're selecting an area, partnering with Rutgers Cooperative Extension to design basically a design match natural habitat restoration, where we'll be removing invasive plant species and then planting in native habitat. We'll be temporarily fencing it off using deer fencing, which continues to be an issue within our borough, just to allow them to establish. And along those lines, we'll also be developing a number of informational kiosks to help educate our residents on the importance of natural habitat restoration. We think that this is going to be a model on how we continue to manage the rest of the areas, and also provide a good example to other communities that have dealt with continuous flooding as a way to, as they acquire properties, to continue to manage them and develop that natural buffer between the rivers and their residential neighborhoods. So thank you very much.
Great, thanks so much, Eric. And thank you to all of the large grant recipients here today. We're so excited to see your projects and wish you all the luck in moving forward with their implementation. So now I would love to introduce, or announce, I should say, the $2,000 grant recipients. Many of these grants are used for projects as well, but some of them are actually used for Green Team support. $2,000 grant is a great way to get your community and your green team revitalized and looking forward to making sustainability action. So without further ado, from Bergen County, Bogota Borough will be using their grant for their Senior Center Energy Efficiency Education Initiative. Also from Bergen County, Harrington Park Borough will be using their grant for the Floodplain Restoration Tree Planting Project. From Burlington County, Chesterfield Township will be using their grant for their Community Backyard Composting Education Program. From Camden County, Gloucester City will be using their grant for the Rethink Your Drink campaign. Also from Camden County, Merchantville Borough will be using their grant for the Promoting Food Security Through Edible Landscapes project. Also from Camden County, Runnymede Borough will be using their grant towards Green Team support, specifically to develop their website. From Essex County, East Orange City will be using their grant for their Small Tools Lending Library program. From Hudson County, Jersey City will be using their grant for their Green Business Certification program. From Hunterdon County, Reddington Township will be using their grant for their Natural Resource Inventory Interactive Map. From Middlesex County, Woodbridge Township will be using their grant for their Water Conservation Education workshops. From Monmouth County, Asbury Park City will be using their grant for their Composting Education Pilot Program. Also from Monmouth County, Atlantic Highlands Borough will be using their grant for their Community Pollinator Garden. Also from Monmouth County, Colts Neck Township will be using their grant towards Green Team support, specifically for education and outreach in the community. Also from Monmouth County, Roosevelt Borough will be using their grant for a Sustainability Education and Outreach program. From Morris County, Mountain Lakes Borough will be using their grant for their Growing Our Green Team Presence in the Community project. Also from Morris County, Parsippany Troy Hills Township will be using their grant for their Distributed Energy Resource System Feasibility Study. From Sussex County, Andover Township will be using their grant to print copies of their Buy Local guide. From Union County, Berkeley Heights Township will be using their grant towards their Adopt a Dream program. Also from Union County, Plainfield City will be using their grant for their Urban Community Garden. And lastly, also from Union County, Westfield Town will be using their grant for a guilt-free takeout reusable container pilot program. Congratulations to all of our new grantees. Great. So now that we've heard from our new grantees, I think it'd be great to hear from some of our previous grantees who have done an amazing job completing their projects and also the final report, which is a part of the terms and conditions of everyone's grant. So I would love to introduce our panel for today. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen quick. So first we have Karen LaGreca, the Green Team consultant for Mahwah Township, a previous $20,000 grant recipient. They used their grant to create a beautiful rain garden, and she'll be talking a little bit more about that today. But just to give a bit of an introduction, this was a very important project for the community. Let's see, 1 second. The Township of Mahwah worked together with the Green Team to create this rain garden between the train station parking lot and Winters Pond on East Ramapo Avenue in order to reduce non-point source pollution and litter from entering nearby Winters Pond. They identified the need that there was a flooding issue here, and working with a lot of volunteers, they were able to install a rain garden on site. The rain garden was outfitted with various education and outreach components, including signage and information shared through the township's resources and social media accounts. And it all came together at a ribbon cutting ceremony that was actually attended by Maria Spina from PSEG and also our Sustainable Jersey Development Director, Joe Grillo. It was a really great event and a very successful project. So we're really excited to have Karen here with us today. Even still, the impact of the project is felt throughout the community. From Roselle Park Borough, I'm happy to introduce Daniel Laporte. He's the Environmental Commission member there. He was instrumental in the borough's completion of their first environmental resource inventory, which they used a $10,000 Sustainable Jersey grant funded by the PSEG Foundation for. The ERI was subsequently adopted into the municipal master plan. They did a really great job sharing the news with the community when they first got the grant and also engaging the community throughout the process through public meetings, as is necessary with an ERI project, and through a very great use of social media. They also made sure to share the results of the project with the community, also through social media and their website. And we think that's a really great way to, get a document, a planning kind of project that doesn't have, an actual physical site. That's a great way to get the community involved and engaged with that kind of project. Okay, and lastly, from Washington Township, I'd love to introduce Vicki Benetti, who's the Green Team Lead and Environmental Commission Chair. They used their $2,000 grant in order to help support their green team. They were able to secure new outreach tools to aid in communications with the public about sustainability in general and all the initiatives that they are working on that year with the grant. They got a lot of really great green team collateral, which I'm sure a lot of our current grantees are thinking of getting. And not only did they, get some great stuff, but they put it to good use and made sure to really engage the community while using that collateral, including a really great brochure that explained what's going on with the green team currently and also a water conservation guide. Okay. So I would love to ask the panel a few questions. Just gonna turn my screen off real quick. And if our panelists would like to go ahead and turn their cameras on and unmute themselves, we can get started. Great. Great to see you all. Thanks again for joining us today and for helping our new grantees get some advice and learn a little bit more about how to successfully implement a Sustainable Jersey grant.
Excuse me, it's telling me my video cannot start because the host has stopped it. So.
Oh, sorry about that, Karen. Let's see. That might do the trick.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. It's great to see all your faces. So I'm going to jump right into it. My first question, I would love to ask Karen this question from Mawa. What advice can you give the new grantees regarding effective community engagement before, during, and after your project? And are there any methods that you would recommend using or ones that you would advise against?
It's always an issue, community engagement, but I contacted the schools, the environmental clubs, and we did have some high school students come out. I am lucky enough to have Rampo College in the township. So, and I teach there. So I am lucky enough to have access to college students that do some volunteer service in the community. So I, had them helping. Of course, the green team helped. We also, when we were building, we really just used, the DPW was very instrumental in groundbreaking and excavating the site because it was a large site. And then when we were, doing other work, some community members would just pass by because it is connected to Winters Park, and they actually just stopped and helped us for a while. They just stopped by, said, "What are you doing?" And we gave them gloves. I always had enough materials prepared. And other than that, I had a community volunteer day that I put on Facebook, and
and people came out for that, but I think the key is you have to plan in advance and let these people know in advance what's happening. And then, hope for the best, but, don't rely on many people coming out, because sometimes, it doesn't happen in that way. But we had no problem with volunteers.
Some great advice, Karen. Thanks so much. Yeah, you guys had a lot of really great partnerships, the college and also the students that came to help out.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had people just stop by. That's amazing. Clearly,
yeah, so
a
families
culture
were
of
walking by from the
sustainability.
park. Yeah. And also we have, MeVO in town, the Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization. It's an environmental youth organization, and they also came by and helped us do plantings and things like that. So, the social capital in your community that's there, that sometimes you don't realize is there until you go try to find it. So I'm sure every community has a wealth of people that are willing to help if they just know about the project.
Great. Very well said. Daniel, I want to turn that question to you now. As I kind of talked about already, Roselle Park did such an amazing job with their community engagement, and especially for grantees who are also doing more planning-based projects, it'd be great to hear some advice you might have for them.
Sure, yeah. I mean, so I think we just kind of tried to make sure that we used a variety of means to share information. So we had both our green team and our environmental commission Facebook pages kind of, posting a lot of, updates and information about what was happening, but also kind of like local community Facebook groups and kind of putting information on there, but also knowing that not everybody uses social media. So I think we tried to vary the other types of ways we would share information, including, local newspapers, having our environmental commission council liaison make announcements during council meetings. The local borough public TV station also kind of had, kind of periodically on a loop some of the information that we might share. So while we don't know exactly, how many were reached through each medium, I think we can kind of assume that, different populations were being kind of targeted with each of these different methods. So I think, any opportunity to use a variety of outreach methods is helpful. And then also we were able to kind of post our final environmental resource inventory on the borough website and really kind of blast that out in as many ways as possible to ensure that it was there and available.
Excellent. Great advice. And lastly, Vicki, your whole project was essentially community engagement. So please feel free to share any good advice that you have for projects as well. Hey,
Caitlin, you're right. Since our objective was to enable improved outreach and communication, all of our tools and our products were developed with that in mind. I will say that an important part of our project was water conservation education. And so what we did there up front was to gain the partnership of our municipal utilities authority. The Environmental Commission was a large part of the project, and the Environmental Commission had developed a water conservation guide a dozen years before with the MUA, but it was time to update it. And so we got their agreement up front to work with us. And there's more to that story. But in any event, one of the products of our project was to develop a guide that we use as an outreach tool, which, as was described earlier, we broadened just from don't water your lawn so frequently to sources of your drinking water and how you can protect it and other ways you can conserve water and so on. So the MUA uses it as a teaching tool when they go out to schools and so on. We use it as a handout. All of the other products, though, that we developed through our grant really improved, I think, our sort of public persona in a way. I think we look more professional. We have a guide that explains what sustainability is about, what the projects are that we're working on. And even the handouts that we developed, the bookmarks that are made of seed paper and the totes and all of that, we wanted to use to develop a sustainability story. I will say one thing that helped a great deal, I think, was the ongoing participation of our green team, just in the way of keeping them informed. And at the conclusion, one of our council members who is on the green team introduced our water conservation guide during a televised council meeting. So that was a nice boost.
Great. Thanks so much, Vicky. I'm going to stick with you for this next question. Kind of building on what you said already, how did your Green Team Support Grant really help inspire the community to get more involved and take on, bigger, larger sustainability initiatives? And if you have any advice on how towns can really capitalize on the momentum of getting a grant and completing a grant project, that'd be really great. I think that'd be great for the new grantees to hear.
Well, there's nothing that breeds success like success, right? And so when you can demonstrate that you've accomplished things and you have sort of a record of working with other partners, it goes a long way at helping you accomplish things in the future. Again, sometimes things are fortuitous and sometimes there's a plan that unveils itself as time goes on. But the president of the Chamber of Commerce at the time was a member of our green team, and he still is a member. He's no longer president of the chamber. When plans always go awry, we thought that there were some things we relied on that were no longer available. Sketches that would be teaching instruments. We didn't have the graphics that we thought we would be able to use from our previous guide. Well, it turns out that the president of the chamber, who's on the green team, he is a photographer and does printing as well. And he volunteered the services of his graphic arts designer. And then one thing led to another. And of course, we developed an incredible partnership, not only in producing that guide, but we have worked with Brian since that time to develop our outdoor art gallery, because he has a technique of developing photographs and artworks on durable outdoor vinyl. He's become a partner in our murals project. Other members of the chamber have come to join us on a number of things. So we've built on this relationship with our municipal employees and officials and members of our business community to really just grow partnerships in sustainability through green businesses and everything else. Good timing helps.
That's great. Yes, I think those partnerships really are key in order to keep the sustainability of a project going. So thanks so much, Vicky. I'm now going to ask Karen if she would like to add anything to what Vicky had to say about building momentum after getting a grant.
Yeah, just you're always thinking what's next, right? What's the next project? So our rain garden was in 2017, so it has been a few years, and so now we're thinking of putting another rain garden on the other side of the pond, because there's still runoff coming in from another side. So I do believe when we and actually we have a business in town that is interested in helping us with supporting it. So they came to us. So just the visual of the rain garden kind of inspired a business that I guess saw the rain garden to want to do more in the town to help us. So we're just in the very beginning stages of that project. But yeah, like Vicky said, when you see a project complete and successful, it's much easier to get the next input into another project. So, the rain garden also inspired the Boy Scouts to do an artificial floating island in Winter's Pond as well, for more water quality, and so that actually did inspire that pack of Boy Scouts to do a project as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we have that as well.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks so much. And then Daniel, anything you would like to add based on Roselle Park's experience?
Right. Yeah, not too much. Mostly again, our project was largely built around kind of working with consultants and kind of building some of those relationships as well with mostly governing body members and municipal land use board members. But I think kind of going off of what Vicky had said, that success begets success. That money talks as well. And when you can come in and say, hey, look, I'm bringing money to the borough for something, they're used to people saying, hey, please, can we have money for this or that? And I think they'll pay a little more, take advantage of the fact that the people are, interested in what you're doing because you're bringing money to the table as well.
Good point. Excellent.
So
Sticking with you.
PSEG.
Yeah. Sticking with you, you touched on the fact that you were a consultant a lot, and I think it'd be great if you could share any advice that you would have for any municipal employees, green team members, and elected officials who might be working for a consultant on their grant in this round, and any kind of any great advice you might have of how that relationship should work.
Sure, yeah. So we, because we had a project team consisting of about 5 or 6 people, including some green team members, environmental commission members, as well as our town historian. So we kind of started out by having, this open bidding process for selecting the consultant. And so kind of just ensuring that you're requesting previous work samples, you kind of know what you're getting into, and, potentially connecting interviews where you have questions of, if you have questions about the work that they've done previously. And so that's really helpful in determining kind of who really is the best consultant for the job that you're requesting of them. I think the other kind of piece is just ensuring, when there's so many different people that the consultant is working with, everybody on the project team, people at the borough, other kind of professionals the borough hires in order to get various aspects of information, just ensuring clear lines of communication for everybody. It's a lot of work to kind of make sure that's, make sure all the work duties are distributed appropriately, just because it is, a big project, but make sure it's really clear who's the main point of contact for the consultants, and other relevant entities. And then kind of as you move forward with the process, just ensure that, your project team members are kind of keeping each other in the loop, either through emails or texts or whatever communication method you decide is going to be best for you. For our project specifically in the environmental resources inventory, it was just really important to ensure that we were kind of reviewing closely the drafts that the consultant was providing, just because as locals and local residents, we were kind of, experts on maybe what kind of information both is most important to us, but also what might be needed for future municipal planning. And so while the consultants can kind of pull data that's available from the state and whatnot, they don't always know the local conditions that might be worth digging into further. And so we were able to kind of like point out something and say, hey, we heard about XYZ thing in this local area, and kind of refer them to a data source that they could pull from to ensure that got included. And so I would just say in general, we had a lot of good, back and forth communication with our consultants, to update the draft to our needs. And so I would probably say, expect that. And finally, I think because there's a considerable amount of coordination between these different municipal entities, the consultants, commission members, green team members, et cetera, we recommend really kind of planning accordingly, that you anticipate delayed responses, and there might be repeated follow-ups kind of throughout the project from, because again, everybody's busy and different entities might not see your project as much of a priority as you do. And so kind of just anticipate some of those delays and know that, yeah, you might have to kind of check in to make sure things are kind of moving along.
All very great advice. Thank you so much, Daniel. Karen, Vicky, I know your projects weren't really consultant based, but if you have anything you want to add, please feel free.
They weren't consultant based, but I do work as a consultant as well, and now for MAWA and for sustainable issues. And it is difficult to get the information on a timely basis on your own schedule, because again, when you email, if I'm emailing the mayor or the business administrator or the DPW, you tend to want the information now, and obviously they're running a whole town, so you're not their only priority. So again, timing and planning out and giving yourself enough time, so you don't feel that rush or that stress of, I need to know now, so again, just, planning, ahead of time is really key to trying to get things done.
Great, thanks. Vicki, anything you want to add?
I will. We didn't use consultants per se, as you indicated, but we did engage a couple of local business persons to help us with our project. And I would say that I would advise that you be very clear and firm about what it is that you're seeking, but then be very open to their recommendations because they are professionals and they know their business. And I would say with that back and forth, we had a much better water conservation guide produced. We had discussions about graphics and layout and so forth. And where we landed was great. So I would just share that. You're working with professionals for their expertise. So be clear about what you want, but also be open to their recommendations.
That's some great advice, and so great, Karen, to have the perspective of someone who does consulting work as well. I know we're over time. I just have one last question. If the panel is willing to stay on a little bit longer, it's one of my favorite questions, and that is if there's a specific aspect of the project that you completed with a Sustainable Jersey grant that you found to be particularly innovative or important to the unique sustainability issues of your community. We'll start with Daniel. If anything you want to add to what you said already.
Sure, yeah. I mean, in terms of something kind of, maybe not exactly innovative, but I thought it was really great that we were able to incorporate, the knowledge that our town historian had in involving her in the project. She had a wealth of kind of local knowledge, as well as kind of lesser known data sources. And so she kind of met with the consultant separately and was able to provide information that may have not been available on kind of your typical state databases or county databases that they were usually accessing. In terms of just importance, again, the environmental resource inventory is just extremely important for the borough to have a baseline to work with. We didn't have one in existence, and there had been a commission for probably a couple of decades, but we never really had that inventory. And so while even though you're going to have various administrations and appointees kind of coming and going who may or may not be interested in sustainability issues, now that the ERI is part of the master plan and there's that data that's there to kind of refer to, it can be used to really highlight the importance of various sustainability issues. So I think it's kind of something that we know that it's now in the code and is something that people have to pay attention to now that it's there.
That's great. Thanks so much, Daniel. Vicki, if you want to share anything about your project that you found innovative or unique.
Well, innovative is, I think, this whole idea of producing materials for outdoor enjoyment by working with this printer. And now we have an outdoor art gallery that is up for, changing exhibits for 8 to 10 months out of the year, which is fabulous. Would never have expected that. The other thing I will just mention quickly is that in the water conservation manual, we were able to advance the understanding, I hope, in a very small way, of the importance of groundwater and how to protect it, because, out of sight is out of mind. And we tried to bring that message home about protection of our vulnerable aquifers. And that, I think, is unique to many communities, particularly in South Jersey. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Vicki. And Karen, if you want to end on you.
It up.
Yep.
The rain garden was done in 2017, so the stormwater, the new rules now, right? This year for stormwater management in municipalities, we were a little bit ahead of the game, I suppose. But now you're going to be obviously seeing many, many more, because their green infrastructure is mandated now. But as far as innovative, just it was new. And when I was trying to, present this idea, some people didn't really understand why I wanted to do this project. But also MAWA, speaking of, groundwater, I mean, we get our water from underground aquifers, we're not reservoir fed. So keeping the water on site, for us is very important instead of it running off into the pond. And then that pond does flow into the Mawa River and then, heads to the Rampo River. So it's very important to keep that water clean, but to keep it on site so it replenishes our drinking water is also one of the benefits of that project.
Great. Thanks so much. It's so interesting to learn about all the different unique aspects of all the communities and how a grant can really help you address that and find innovative ways to do so. So that concludes our panel. So thank you all so much for joining, for dedicating your time and sharing your experiences with our new grantees. I know it's really going to help them when they're implementing their project. I also want to thank all of our grantees who joined us today to celebrate their awards. I'll be following up with some more information about and also the check, which I'm sure you're anxiously awaiting. So thank you all again for joining us. Thank you to all Sustainable Jersey staff who helped support the grants program. I couldn't do it without all of you. And finally, I want to thank the PSEG Foundation for their continued support of this annual cycle. Municipalities are always so excited when typically in the fall we announce a cycle to really get going on a lot of sustainability initiatives that they have, waiting in line to get the funding for. So big thank you to everyone. And yeah, good luck with all of your grants.
Thank you. Good luck to the new grantees. It's fun. It'll be great. Thank you.
Congratulations. Wonderful projects.
Yes.
Great. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
So we're no longer on the live stream. I know, again, I apologize, we are over time. But if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to wait and answer any that we see. I'll go ahead and check the question box before I stop the broadcast. But if I don't get to your question or you have to run, please feel free to send me an email. I am always happy to answer any questions you have about your grant or the grants project. But it looks like everyone's good. Great. So now I'm going to officially close the event. Thank you all again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your days and good luck with your grants.